He holds a master's degree in development communications and an advocate for disaster risk reduction for sustainable development. He's a corporate MC and a youth development advocate passionate about transforming society through development communication for social change. He believes we can all change the world if only we believe in our potentials and pursue our dreams. Brothers and sisters, let's welcome Mr. Lambert Donko.
Pax. 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 It feels very great to be here tonight. I'm very excited to be here, and so Father ABAIKU, I'm grateful for this opportunity, and to the leadership of this body, I'm very grateful. So like she rightly said, my name is Lambert. I love to talk, and I'm here to talk to my brothers and sisters. So brothers and sisters, I am not above you, neither am I below you. We are colleagues. We are what? We are what? So my topic for today's inspiration is making a mark on the world with your God-given potentials. Making a mark on the world with your God-given potentials. Before we move on quickly, can I get about 2 or 3 people who will just tell me what they believe, or from their own perspective, what we say when we say potential, what it means? Do we have some quick people that can help us? When we say potential, do we have someone to go? You don't have to be timid. Okay, so let's go. So, in the course of my presentation, you get to know what a potential is, and then how to develop this, and how to maximize it. And at the end, if you are able to maximize your potential, you get to know the benefits that it comes with for you as a young person. So, from the beginning slide, you see, it says that anyone can MC, but not everyone is an MC. Anyone can MC, but not everyone is an MC. Why would I say so? It is only to say that you need to distinguish yourself in whatever you do. For instance, if Father ABAIKU is a priest, there are so many priests here in Accra, not to talk of Ghana alone, even Africa. But it means that there is something that sets him apart from his other colleagues as priests. Ask yourself, if you're a sociology student, what sets you apart from your colleagues? If you are the PAX president, what sets you apart from other PAX presidents that have come and gone? So whatever you set yourself to do in life, there is a need for you to distinguish yourself. It is not just enough for you to say, I'm a law student, or I'm a lawyer, I'm a medical student, or I'm a doctor. It is for you to distinguish yourself in whatever you do. Am I clear? So this evening, I am sure after here, we'll reignite some potentials here. Some passions will be rekindled, and then we shall all get to do the things we have to do for God, for ourselves, for our community, and for the world. But of course, I want to ask, why do we even need to even develop our potentials? So as I move on, the objective of this talk would unfold. So to my introduction, who is the source of our potential? Who is the source of our potential? And so if you want to establish what even a potential is, then we are looking at the capacity to develop or succeed. It means that the power untapped in us. So it means that in us, there is a measure of God's creature. There is a measure of God's creation in us. And that is what God has given to us to bless the world. But many of us are seated here, and I must say that we are robbing the world of the gift God has given to us to bless people. Your gift could bless the next person around you just by you. So if we establish that our potential comes from God, then we know that God is omnipotent. And so the fact that we say God is omnipotent, it means that there is a certain power that God has. And that is what that extension has been given to us. And each and every one has that power. I don't know if you have already discovered yours. You are yet to discover your potential. But it's never too late. We're all created in the image of God. And so if we are created in the image of God, it means that any other thing that God did, we have the power to do. We have what? We have the power to do. So now one will ask, if I have the potential, what is the purpose of it? Like I established in the introduction, it is for us to bless lives. It is for us to bless our community, to change lives in society. So if you find yourself in this chapel tonight, and you have a certain gift, and you are not able to bring it to bear, then you should know that God has given you something and you are robbing the world of that gift. And it's just like the parable of the talent. If you have and you do not use it, the master will take it from you. For some of us, when we get these gifts or we have these potentials, we tend to dominate people. We tend to be bosses or lord over people. But it is not for us to lord over people. It is for us to shine in our corner so other people's light will also shine. So for those of us who have been able to develop what we have, it is for us to help lift other people. When we lift them, it means we all shine together. There's so much space for all of us to shine. Am I speaking to someone? I believe by the time we all leave here, we'll get back on track and be on fire for God and for ourselves and our country. So you'd ask yourself, if I play the keyboard, do I play the keyboard wholeheartedly because I have to play to serve God? If I sing, do I sing because I have to sing to bless God and bless lives in this church? If you are not doing so, you'd have to re-audit your life. Sit and have a retreat. When you have a retreat, you would get to know whether you are doing the right thing or not. Whether you are serving God with what He has given to you. It is not enough to just know that you have the gift and sit on it. So now I would ask, if I am able to know what I have, or how do I even get to know what I have? Well, then I'll take you through some dimensions which will help you develop them. And one says that you need to be very fruitful. So in you, if you know you have the ability to sing and you are not singing, it means that you are not being fruitful. It means that you are not being fruitful. So the first step of being able to put your potential to bear is about being fruitful. Imagine you have the idea to manufacture a shoe, and you've not started putting ideas together to even start looking out for resources to manufacture the shoe. It means that your potential is caged in you. But if you are able to put a step to it, you are being fruitful. So if you can sing and you sit in the audience and you are not able to come to help the choir to sing, you are not being fruitful. But God gave you that gift so you'll be fruitful. And by being fruitful, it will help other people around you. So by being fruitful, it means that you need to bring to bear what God has put in you. In every man, God has a blessing. God has placed a gift. And yours is unique to you alone. Pax. We need to be fruitful with what God has given to us. We need to be fruitful. It's not enough to say, I know how to dance. If you know how to dance, why are you not dancing? People are dancing and they are going places. Why can't you dance and go places? People are speaking and they are going places. Why can't you speak and go places? If you have the gift to speak, you need to speak. If you can preach, you need to preach. One day you can just tell Father ABAIKU that, Father, I'd love to speak to my people. And it's not above you. I'm sure behind the walls of this chapel, when we meet amongst our friends, we are able to vibe with them. Why can't you vibe with your own colleagues in the chapel? Why can't you vibe with your own colleagues at lecture halls? This that I'm doing tonight is something I started way back in school. So I must establish that I left Cape Coast Polytechnic 2012, so that's about 10 years ago. Does it look it? That's about 10 years ago. So if I haven't discovered myself to start doing something, it means that today I won't be here speaking to you, my brothers and sisters. So it means that I saw something ahead of me and I was able to bring it to bear. I became fruitful. I found a way to be able to start doing that, and I began doing it. In the introduction, you heard a mention I'm a corporate MC. It's what I do as well, as part of my gift that God has given to me. I speak, and so I make good use of all the gifts that God has given to me. So now if you put your gift to bear and everybody can see it, you can see that you are doing something. What do you have to do? You must find multiple grounds to be able to add up to what you are doing. And that brings us to the point, multiplication of your potential. To multiply. To multiply. It means that you are increasing the outcome of what you do. So if one, you start singing, you shouldn't end there. Find many times to rehearse, practice, and of course, be able to sing at many gatherings. So whilst you do that over and over, you become better at what you do. You become what? Better at what you do. You would make some mistakes, you'll be corrected. You make mistakes, you'll be corrected. And then you become efficient in what you do. So that's about multiplication. You find efficient way of becoming better in what you do. Of course, I didn't start from speaking to crowds like yours. I started from speaking to my own colleagues, like one-on-one with people, so as to build my confidence. So that maybe today, if I meet you, I won't fidget in front of you. But of course, the grace of God speaks through me to you. So now, if you are fruitful and you multiply, what next must you do? It is for you to replenish. By replenishing, it means that you are breaking new grounds. How do you break new grounds? How do you break new grounds? So for instance, if Christine sings in church here, she should be able to find other platforms to sing as well. So if there's a different Catholic church, let's say Divine Mercy, she should be able to sing at Divine Mercy as well. By that, you are breaking ground from one place to the other, and that is when you test what God has given to you. Because when you change environment, it gives you a different atmosphere to shine. But you must always start small and grow big. I recall back in Cape Coast Polytechnic, now Technical University, when I started MCing, I have to beg people. I have to beg probably the departmental heads just to let me have a platform to MC their events. And it's because I believe in myself. I knew that there was something in me and I needed a platform, but nobody would see if I did not go to them to be given that platform. So I look for opportunities to shine, and that's about replenishing. You must always look for opportunities to shine, break new grounds, fill in where you are not able to fill in. And all these platforms will be shaping you day by day till you get to the top someday. So if you're able to do all these and you're able to break new grounds, and probably you can sing from AQUINAS here, you can sing at Divine Mercy, you come to my church, St. James, you go to all the other churches, St. Michael, and you sing in all other Catholic churches, it means that you are good to go to other churches and minister as well. Amen. And I always say to my brothers and sisters that the Catholic Church is a bigger platform for us to shine. It's what? It's a bigger platform for us to shine. This is not the very first church I'm speaking. I've spoken at Cathedral before. I've spoken at other Catholic churches before, and my very own parish, St. James. I believe some of you here know St. James Parish in Osu. So it means that if we are able to even take our Catholic parishes, we'll be able to maximize our potentials through them, and we'll become efficient and better at what we do. So if you have done all these, then it means that you tend to gain some authority at what you do. If you have authority on what you do, you become a master in that. So all the people you hear their names and they become like a brand or a household name, it means that they are able to, they've subdued in their area of influence. When they speak with confidence. Whatever they do, whatever they are good at, they exhibit that, and you see that it's a skill. It is not just a talent. It is what? A skill, not just a talent. It is what? A skill, not just a talent. So imagine you start developing your potential from one stage to the other, and then eventually you look for a bigger platform just to do what you want to do. When you make a mistake, you would hardly bounce back into the limelight. You would what? Hardly bounce back into the limelight. The reason is that it's a premature exposure for you. It's a premature exposure for you. So it is very imperative that we start small and we grow big. And whilst we do this, we are being shaped day by day. So now, if you are able to develop ourselves through all this, then we'd ask yourself, why do people who have very good talents or good crafts fall? Why do they fall? It means there is something they don't pay attention to. And those things are called limitations. If I'm able to do all these things and I'm shining, what are some of the things that will limit me from shining? Are you in a corporate sector? Are you a student? Whatever you are doing, those things are around you. There are obstacles around you that you need to fight each and every time. So some of the limitations could be your attitude. Your attitude. For instance, you are supposed to come for rehearsal for singing at 6 a.m. or 6 p.m. You come at 7. The choir master, the one who's coming to teach you the song, the voice trainer comes ahead of you. If you are not disciplined enough, it means that the one coming to train you will not find the love, will not find the joy to be able to give his or her best to you. So your attitude can even limit you from becoming what you want to become in life. Your attitude can limit you from becoming what you want to become in life. Another thing that can also limit you is your niche. It's your niche, where you operate, the area in which you confine yourself. Let's say, for instance, you have the ability to design clothes, like you're a fashion designer. You are supposed to be serving women, and you find yourself with the opposite sex. What do you have to do? It means that you need an extra strategy to be able to make markets. So it's either you make an extra effort to market to the male, to the female, and that will cost you some more. But if you find yourself in the midst of females, why won't you start with what you have? So you target them, meaning that you operate in your circle. And when you are doing better, you extend your services to the next person or the opposite sex. Or for instance, you learn how to do for male clothing for male, and then you live in an environment where only female are dominated in purchasing. It means that you could do better, you are creative, but your products will not go far. In our halls, in our departments, we do a lot of things that are helpful to ourselves. But you need to look at them, review them, and see if those things are helping you. Because they could either make you or unmake you. Maybe you start a little business in school here. It could become one of the biggest companies in the world. You never know. But it depends on what you do and how you do it. So the niche you serve can either make or unmake you. Another thing that is a limitation could also be the creativity you add to the things you do. The creativity you add to the things you do. How creative are you? How creative are you in the things you do? If I play the keyboard, am I creative enough to ensure that I play and people are moved to worship God? That alone can limit you. People have played keyboards and they've traveled places. So my brother, when you are playing the keyboard, do not joke with it. It will take you very far. You never know. and see it as what God has given to you to bless the world. Never limit yourself to just the keyboard. Play and play wholeheartedly. Play for Father ABAIKU to dance on his feet. So, another thing that can limit you is improper mentorship. Probably even the person you are taking the mentoring from is not knowledgeable enough in the area. So it's not anybody that can become our mentors. Sometimes we just choose people to be our mentors just for a particular zeal that we have, but not because we have observed or researched to know if the people are really the right people to lead us in the area of our work. By the time I end my slide, you see people who have mentored me. And when you Google them, you will see the impact they've had on my life. So when you are looking out for people who will help you become who you want to become in life, you must seek a helpful mentor. We'll get there. So these are very few things that can limit you. But of course, you're on campus. One of the key things that can limit you, maybe you're not disciplined enough to study. You're not disciplined enough to study. Of course, you need to study at odd hours to make that mark you want to make. There's a GPA or a CGPA you want to hit, you need to study at odd hours. When you sleep enough, you will not make that mark. If you humanize enough, you will not make that mark. Focus on what you want to do, and I'm sure you make it in life. So now let me just take you through some 10 quick steps that will help you maximize your potential, and we'll call it a night. So one of the points is that understand who you are and why you believe in what you believe in. And then I said that when John the Baptist was asked several times of who he was, people even thought he was the Messiah. But he knew exactly what he was up to do. He said to them, he was just up to prepare the way for the Lord. Jesus also said that he came to bring salvation to mankind. It means that these two groups of people, they knew their purpose in life. They understood their mission. So if you are here and you are studying a particular course, you should know why you are studying that course. You should not compare yourself to other people. You should know where that course is leading you to. Because at the end, you will give account of what blessing that course is going to be to you and the world. So no matter what you are studying, put your efforts into it. Put your whole efforts into it. And I'm sure definitely with God's grace, you would get there. So if you understand yourself and you know, I am good at social sciences, I am good at engineering courses, you should know what you are good at from the beginning, right from the onset. So you do not choose courses or you do not find yourself doing things that your colleagues are doing, peer pressure. Do the things because in you, there is an inner feeling that would give you that energy to make it happen. All the things I've studied in life, all the courses I've taken in life are connected to my talent. Maybe yours may not be, but of course, know what you want to do and how you want to do it. In a polytechnic, I studied marketing in a polytechnic. Then I came to GIG and I studied public relations as a degree. And I went ahead to do my master's in development communication. So it attests to the fact that everything I want to do is around communication. And there's a talent that is hooked up to these activities. So that takes us to the next point. It says that believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. If you do not believe in yourself, who would give you the platform to shine? If you do not walk to Father ABAIKU to tell him, Father, I want to preach, or I want to sing, or I want to do something for the church, how would Father even believe and know that you have a gift and you can make it happen? So it is for you to believe in yourself. When you believe and you take a step, I am very sure society or the community you live in would help and push you. One step of me begging in a polytechnic someday had pushed me and brought me this far. So that's about believing in yourself. If you believe you can do it, you will do it. And that takes us to our next point. If you are here and you don't believe in yourself, then the time is now. It's never too late. The next point says that start with what you have and from where you are. Your situation is not enough. Most of us, when we have an idea or a business idea, we do not even know how to put the ideas together. But we start complaining about money, capital to start a business. But of course, the first point of starting a business is putting your idea together. People have organized their thoughts on documents called proposals, and they've gotten grants for them to make their businesses or their dreams happen. What are you doing with your idea? What are you doing with that dream you have? Start with what you have. Your situation is not enough. And that brings us back to the talents. If you have one idea, one talent, ensure you use it to bless God. Ensure you make it happen. You become fruitful with what you have. Maybe by developing one, the other ones will open up for you. I started emceeing. Today I go around speaking to people in schools, in churches, and everywhere. Tomorrow I'll be speaking at Christ Apostolic Church around Laboni. And on Saturday I'll be speaking at the Lions Club in Tema. So imagine I sat on what God has given to me. I wouldn't have come this far. But on and on, we are still believing God to take us to greater heights. It is never too late. And that's about starting with what you have. If you do not have anything, you have a talent. If you do not have anything at all, you have a talent. If you don't know how to discover your talent, just look within you. Pray to God. Pray to God and ask Him to open your eyes to what He has given to you. For some of us, we discover our talent by people around us. Someone can say, oh, the last time I heard you sing, you sang very well. The last time you did a vote of thanks, you spoke very well. And that's the beginning of our potential. Take challenges. Offer to do things in the church. I started as a small boy, 7 Mass on the altar. When you do some of these things, they build your confidence. And so when they give you other roles, you are able to jump into them. You take a bigger challenge. And that takes us to our next point. Set excellence as a standard. What are you doing? How are you doing it? Are you doing it lackadaisically? You don't just have to do it anyhow. You must do it so people's lives are blessed. Imagine coming to speak to you and I don't know my content because I take it for granted. I won't be able to impact lives. I came prepared to speak to you, and by the end of my inspiration, I believe that at least one person would have a renewal of the mind. So whatever you are doing, look at a bigger picture. You look at a bigger picture, but you start small. And I'm sure most of you, those of you who are in the business sectors or other courses, you realize that the principle of start small and grow big is cut across. So when you look at a global picture, you'd have to start in a local form. Let's move to our next point. Set excellence as a standard. Our next point says, right timing or treat time like gold. Treat time like gold. Like I was telling you, one of the limitations, if you are not able to make time a habit, be on time, if you are not able to do that, it will cut you short of the glory that you have. If you are learning under someone, the person will choose not to teach you because he comes ahead of you and you come behind him. And when he says 7 o'clock, you come 7:45. He will not be happy with you. Your boss is probably where you are doing attachment, where you are working. If you don't treat time like gold, they will see you as an unserious person. So always ensure that you are on time to whatever you want to do. Imagine you've been called for an interview. It's 9 a.m. and you get there 10. You may lose an opportunity. So as young people, we need to treat time like gold. Let's manage our time efficiently and effectively. And that runs through our studies on campus as well. We need to manage our time effectively, how we study and how we manage other social activities on campus. And I believe we would excel. I recall back in the Polytechnic when I came in the first year. When you come at the first year, you are enthused and you get yourself into so many groups at a time. And if you don't take care, you drown. But of course, as time moves on, you get to see and have your feet. You find your feet and then you become better. But manage your time efficiently and see other things that will be helpful to you. It may not be just about the studies, but there are other social activities on campus that will help you as well. There are some clubs that are very helpful and they will help build your network as well on campus. That takes us to our next point. Learn to serve. Learn to serve. You cannot become a master if you don't serve. If you don't serve well, you become a bad master. But if you serve well, then it means that you learn the in and out of the craft you have chosen or the career you have chosen for yourself. That is why our brothers in the seminary go on pastorals. They go on pastorals because they need to learn under someone. They need to what? Learn under someone. So there's a pastor and you go to serve under him. If you don't serve under a parish priest or under a priest, how do you get to know how administratively they manage affairs of the church? It is not out of the blue. The same applies to us. That's why we go to do internships and all other sorts. Probably you are in school, you are still learning something, a trade or something from someone. If you learn to serve well, if you humble yourself to serve, you'll be able to learn the in and out of whatever you are doing, and it will take you places. Let's go to our next point. So let's learn to serve. Be humble. You don't just get up and jump to the top. So the 7th point says, choose your company wisely. Who are your friends? Who are your friends? Choose your company wisely. Bible even makes us understand that bad company corrupts good character. Bad company does what? Corrupts good character. So if you think you are wise, but always you find yourself in the midst of fools, excuse me to say, before you realize automatically you tend to act like them and you think it's normal. Because you are in their midst every time. There is this thing on social media that says that if you want to become the 7th wise person, then it means that you must walk with wise people. It is because as you walk with them, you are influenced by a certain culture around them. There is a certain habit. There are certain things they do that make them excel, and those things would help you excel as well. So let's choose our friends wisely. You do not want to get a certain CGPA or a certain mark, and then you sleep with those who are sleeping every time. You must move with those who are learning at odd hours. When people are sleeping, they are up studying. Let's move to our next point. The 8th point says, set strategic plans for ourselves. I'm sure we are all aware of the SMART acronym. The SMART acronym. Set strategic plans for ourselves. What do you want to do? The course I am doing, where do I want to see myself in the next 4 or 5 years? Am I on track? What do I have to do? What books do I have to read to get there? Who do I speak to mentor me? And which company must I go for internship to aid the career I'm pursuing? All these things, you must be intentional about them. You must be very intentional about them. That's why from the beginning I told you that you need to choose your mentors. You need to choose your mentors wisely. You don't choose mentors that are opposite what you want to do in life. So set strategic plans for yourself. Let your plans be very specific on what you want to do. So that at least you can come back to measure within 3, 1 year, 5 years, and know if you are really on track. Then you can review and say, probably I went wrong here. If I had done this, I could become better. Maybe last semester I couldn't study well, or last semester I involved myself in more social activities than studying. Or I couldn't balance the two well. Then you'll be able to come back to track. Am I speaking to someone? Am I speaking to someone? Pax. Let's go to our next point. It says that avoid shortcuts. Avoid shortcuts. We are students, we are workers and all that. Many times we want shortcut because we want to take off the pain or the hassle. Yes, we want the shortcut to be able to get to where we want to go. But sometimes avoiding the shortcuts will rather cost us double the journey. Double the journey. But if you're able to go through the process, we'll become efficient at what we do. Like I was telling you, some 10 years ago, I saw the need to start putting my potential to bear in a polytechnic. And it didn't just start in a polytechnic, but it was then I realized that I could make this an effective craft. But like a very small boy, I joined Sunday school, I moderated Sunday school plays and all that. So that was when my MCing craft began for me. So by the time I got to the Polytechnic, I realized that that was the time for me to refine it into a skill. And if your talent has not been refined into a skill, nobody would want to pay for it. I've emceed very honorable events. I've emceed very honorable events. So avoid shortcut, be patient, and seek the grace of God to see you through. Let's go to our very last point. It says that this is the point that supersedes all the points I've spoken about. Stay in touch with the God of potential. Stay in touch with the God of potential. We established from the beginning that God is omnipotent and therefore the source of all potential. So if He created the world and everything in the world, then we are not different from the things God created. So it means that in us, He placed something great in us. So if we stay in touch with Him, it is He who knows what He has given to us, and He will lead us to accomplish that. So we need to constantly stay in touch with Him. Pray about our gifts. Pray about the things we want to do as young people. It is not enough to say I have the talent and you sit on it, or you just come and stand and you do it. For me to stand here and speak to you, I prayed whilst preparing. I prayed so God would grant me the grace to speak to you. So if I stand to speak to you, yes, I have rehearsed and rehearsed and rehearsed. But of course, I ask the grace of God to lead me through. So seek the God of potentials and stay in touch with Him. If you look under the slide, I wrote under it, God is in 100%. That is my mantra. Always God is in whatever I do. And I've always said that without God, I wouldn't have come this far. I wouldn't have come this far. So maybe the tech team can just roll up the slides and then keep rolling to the last slide. So tonight, my brothers and sisters, I just came to tell you that whatever you are doing, it is not enough. Make it active. So you can see pictures of me, ex-President Rollins. I was emceeing a lunch, and then he was guest of honor. You need your craft to become a skill for people to get you on board when great men are coming to events like that. You can't get there. You can't get there. You can't get them to put you on their platforms if you would come and mess up. So whatever you are doing, start small and grow big. This man is called Mr. Ben Dochemalo. He's worked with BBC before. He's working as the Global Communications Director of United Nations Headquarters in New York. He's one of my great mentors. He's been very helpful. If you Google him, you'll see his exploits. That is the current Speaker of Parliament. I shared a platform with him at UPSA during one of their speaking engagements. You need to get to a standard where nobody will reject you. And it starts from here. It is in the church that you get to make the mistakes and then you'll be corrected. It is in the church you get to make all the mistakes and then you keep on getting the corrections and then you become better for the church, you become better for your community, and you become better for the world. So it is one thing knowing what you have, but the other knowing what to do to make you excel. Whatever you need to do, you need to plan it, and pray for God to see you through. That picture is an event I emceed for UNESCO, United Nations event. And these are all things to motivate you that whatever you do, if you start doing them little by little, eventually you would get there. Thank you very much. I'm grateful for having me.
Thank you, Mr. Donko, for